Alright, the combatants are set. Let's end this debate once and for all. It's time for a best skull battle!
This will prove nothing.
It's just a joke I thought of when the sub came out.
I get you.
Anyway, hello one and all, and welcome to another Ice Queendom discussion. I'm your only mate, and with me as always is...
Max, a few trades, beleaguered and all manner of confuzzled.
Yeah, it's episode 11.
We got a biggin. It's a biggin episode. We both got lots of things to say about assortments of things.
Yeah, we do.
Like, my goodness.
First things first, everything is on purple fire.
It really is. It's purple because of Blake. Which, yeah. And I don't mean in the sense that because it's, you know, Blake's dream and everything. No, it's purple because purple is Blake's color, which is funny because it's supposed to be black. But the point is...
Well, I mean, there's a bit of, like, black in there with the flames.
True. But the point is, it's meant to be Blake fire.
Yeah. Also, purple is the color of her aura.
It is. Well, I'm just trying to say, like, it wouldn't be as obvious or noticeable if it were RWBY fire or Yang fire, because it would be red and yellow. So, you know, that would just kind of look like normal fire. But now I'm picturing Weiss fire, and that sounds pretty dope.
Isn't, like, white fire, like, the hottest fire can be?
Exactly. Which is the most fitting thing for Weiss ever. Boom, I can't snap my fingers, but that would have been great for a time for it. Yeah, alright. Anyway, the Grim White Fang are fighting the robots, and I'm gonna be honest with you, they're having a pretty good time of it.
Yeah, robots not doing too good, but then in comes Big Nicholas with the assist.
Yep, that's just kind of how the Big Nicholas do, and the White Fang Grim are... Actually, they seem kind of intimidated by it, which is interesting to me.
I mean, wouldn't you be?
I know, it's just I didn't realize that they would be capable of it, considering they're supposed to be, like, just, you know, mindless monster things.
Hmm.
So it's like, oh, damn, how are we supposed to deal with that? And then Yang's all like, don't worry, you horrifying abominations, I got you.
Yeah, she's all, I'ma punch it, and there's actually a bit after Yang, like, pulls up on her bike, before it, like, cuts to her face. Mm-hmm. It kind of looks like Big Nicholas is floating.
Only a little bit, yeah. Look, sometimes it's gonna be like that.
Yeah.
Jean is doing his absolute best to fight off the Jacques Schnee Armagigas, but it ain't going too good. But then it goes pretty dang well because he accidentally drops his sword, and then Jacques basically steps on it, and that causes his leg to disintegrate. Which makes the whole thing a whole lot easier when the giant monstrosity you're fighting literally can't stand up.
I guess you could say Jean has a leg up on Jacques.
Just as much as you could say that Jacques Schnee doesn't have a leg to stand on.
Hey!
That hurt. That hurt a lot.
I'm so proud of you.
That fills me with shame. Anyway, Blake and Weiss are fighting. Well, they're shadowy selves anyway.
I mean, it's the closest we're gonna get.
Which is good. I don't want them to fight for real. That'd be terrible.
No, neither do I.
But Shadow Weiss is deeply confused as to why Blake is acting so dang strangely. And she's like, do you really think that I hate you all that much? It's like, no, I'm not against all the faunus. But Shadow Blake is like very adamant about this entire thing. But it's meant to illustrate, you see, that there is the real Weiss in there, and the whole Shadow thing is weakening at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the Blake Shadow thing it's very strong right now.
I mean, yeah, which is all kinds of concerning, but...
Yeah, it really is.
This was ultimately part of Blake's plan, and hey, it's working.
It is working. It is working. But yeah, Blake is just constantly throwing accusation after accusation. And it's like, Weiss just has to say, like, man, and eventually it causes even Shadow Weiss to just say, I want to try and fix my family and make things better, which is most assuredly something that comes from the real Weiss, not the Shadow Weiss. Which also causes her to have, like, this little internal reflection thing. And who I believe a representation of the real Weiss, just kind of is looking at the Shadow, and the Shadow gets kind of absolutely flabbergasted by this internal revelation.
I love the shot of just, like, how shocked Shadow Weiss is. Just like, wait, hold on. I feel that way? What?
Was like, wait, what am I? Who? Where? What? Now? What? Oh god, I'm being attacked by a cat ninja.
Shadow Blake, so I don't have time for your existential crisis.
She really doesn't, and she is throwing them swords. Like, goddamn. And yeah, no, Blake isn't really giving Weiss a lot of room to work with here, and the thorns are obviously still in kind of wrapping around them, in metaphorically and in a literal sense.
I sung her praises the last couple episodes. I'm still doing it. Like, freaking Aaron of Shadow Blake. God damn.
Well, I think Kara is doing a really good job too.
Yeah, they both are.
Yeah. Good. Anyway, Shadow Weiss comes to the conclusion that Shadow Blake must be possessed by something, and that she wants to bring Blake back, which is very good. Good job, Weiss.
Yeah.
The real you is shining through. Real good styles. I appreciate it.
Shine through the shadow.
Heck yeah. Reach out to that mirror or something. I don't know.
Not just the mirror, but the truth.
The mirry truth. Yes. And RWBY is cutting thorns. But it's not working too great because, you know, there's a lot of them.
Okay, try shooting them. That doesn't do much.
All right. Well, they're just healing them up real good. RWBY is all manner of confused, like, what the hell am I even supposed to do? And then, I have to admit, kind of randomly just remembers the whole, you know, in the dream thing that she had with Weiss, and Weiss explaining how, you know, the backwards crescent rose thing has a purpose.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's a weird time to randomly remember that, RWBY.
Yeah, however...
It
RWBY
does let me see why.
Yeah, we're not at that. I forgot.
No, we're not at that yet. Also, I'm okay with the scene playing again because I get to see the pajamas again. So life is good. But yeah, RWBY's just kind of thinking and pontificating and wondering what is up with this backwards gun.
We'll have to find out later because Yang's still fighting Big Nicholas and he has big eye lasers.
Yeah, it's weird. He just got all kinds of crazy powers. And Yang is mad now because she got shot. If you look when the I-beams go off, Yang like literally falls off her bike. You see that?
Yep.
And then in the next scene, she is back on the bike and pissed.
I also just got to the show where Big Nicholas just yeets the White Fang.
Yeah, it sure does. Anyway, Yang is big pissed off at Big Nicholas. And I gotta be honest with you, I find it interesting that she decides, I'm gonna take my goggles off as I go quickly. Yang, that is not the time to take the goggles off. You are being silly.
I love that punch that she has and just like freaking shatters Big Nicholas's arm.
Yeah, now he only has 5 arms, and that's not gonna be any good for him. But before I can even consider the notion of what life is going to be like now that he's only got 5 arms, Yang pulls off some crazy awesome anime nonsense and punches his whole damn head off.
Love this freaking shot.
It's a great shot. And then she hits it with a bike.
Bet we won't see that again in Yang's future.
Nope, she definitely will never do that again. However, this has instigated an unintended side effect, an unknown consequence of Yang driving her bike all up into Big Nicholas's head.
Okay, so I keep calling back to when I watched the sub of these episodes. When I saw this scene, I immediately thought, Max is going to love this.
Okay, well...
This is mostly gonna be you, my guy.
Yeah, it is. It is. Okay. Okay. My god. Okay. Okay. So basically, here's the thing. Yang drives into Big Nicholas's head. Yes, I'm saying it that way on purpose. And inside of it is basically kind of a shared memory between 2 particular individuals. One of them is a very young Weiss, who, yes, is unspeakably adorable, and she will continue to be adorable. but the other one is straight up actual Nicholas Schnee. For the first time ever, we get a real legitimate look at him, and we get to hear him. Now, very quickly, I would like to bring up the fact that he is voiced, Nicholas, by voice actor John Swasey, who you might recognize, possibly, as the big bad of My Hero Academia, All for One. He's also deaf and
Soul Eater.
Soul Eater, thank you. I kept almost saying Black Clover, but no.
He's also Dodoria in Dragon Ball.
He is a lot of things. My point is, he voices a lot of bad dudes, is what I'm trying to get at here. And he's voiced a fair few of older fellows, yes, but generally speaking, the kind of guy that we learn Nicholas to be, we've always heard stories, little bits and pieces about him being a good guy, and how, when he founded the Schnee Dust Company, it was, a significantly more honorable and wondrous place and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it was Jacques that ruined all of that.
Damn him.
But we actually get to see him and have a conversation. And adorable. Did I mention that she's cute? Small Weiss says, everybody be saying that we live in a big old castle. And she asks, does that make you a king, Grandpa Nicholas? And he's all like, no, I'm not like that. I've always lived and always sought joy in the act of protecting and serving others and helping anyone that I possibly can. And he has no real interest in being a king. And he instills some interesting and very lovely views into Weiss that it's actually fairly interesting. First and foremost, he says that there's probably going to be a time when eventually she's going to want to leave this place. And Weiss, says, like, so I can go on adventures like you did? And he's like, yeah, very much like that. And so he says, basically, until then, this castle that Weiss refers to as her house is going to protect her. But eventually, however, you will also have to become a castle yourself in order to protect people. And that will make your family happy and proud. And this is all really good stuff. Weiss implies that, I should build a castle like you did. And Nicholas says that, yeah, you should. You need to build a big castle inside your heart. The biggest and most noble one you can think of, so you can protect all of the people that you care about in the future. And you can see how these lines basically... You can see how they affected Weiss initially, and how, due to also the kind of corruption from Jacques, and to a lesser extent a few other members of her family.
Mostly Jacques, though.
Mostly him, yes. You can see how this ideology kind of got corrupted a little bit, and how Weiss sort of came to the conclusion that she needs to, well, basically build a castle around her heart, not let people in. Be closed off and cold, which goes against the way that, Nicholas is trying to teach her to be. And you can also see, and this is the part that I like to focus on specifically, that she is eventually able to reevaluate these lessons. And we know this from the Weiss that we see in the show today, and how loving and open she is, and how adamantly she will protect literally everyone she cares about, even the people that have wronged her. Because she's just that kind of gal, and I really like that. And it's nice that, I mean, we sort of knew this, but it's nice to get direct confirmation that growing up, at least for a little while before he inevitably passed away, that Weiss had an unquestionably 100% good influence in her life.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that for at least a time she was able to have someone in her life, other than Klein, of course, that I'm just talking direct blood relatives that she could have these pleasant conversations and instill good morals. And it's obvious, very obvious, that Nicholas is a big reason a big reason of why Weiss is the person that she is today, and why she was able to escape from the negative consequences and situations of her childhood to become the wonderful person that she is today. So I have a lot of deep respect and admiration for this man, and I appreciate all that he did, and I like that he considers Weiss to be his littlest friend. It is very cute. This is a truly wonderful moment. I want to give John Swasey and Elizabeth Maxwell, who is voicing the younger Weiss in this, massive amounts of credit, because good lord, it is such an incredibly touching scene, and I may have watched it more times than I did a lot of the other parts of this episode just because of how much I enjoyed it.
I'm glad to know I was right.
Yes, you were. Unfortunately, not. Oh, yes?
Sorry, I've just been paused on this frame when Little Weiss turns to Nicholas and smiles. I noticed her mouth is kind of like the Cat-Girl mouth.
Yep, it is. It absolutely is. That's actually one of the screenshots I sent over.
Awesome.
Yeah, this is actually going to be one. I'm gonna explicitly bring this up very briefly, just so I can not have to talk about the sad part immediately after this. So ordinarily, Mate is the one who will gather all of the screenshots that you see throughout the video. But I decided, okay, well, you know what, this time I'm going to help him out. And I started by trying to do all of them, but it's a lot of work. This guy gets like 300 screenshots or more.
I mean, I average out like roughly 100 per episode.
Yeah, but it's a lot to go through.
Not all of them end up getting used because I realize, okay, I don't think I need to cut to this. Like,
yes. But this
and there are times where I just can't be asked.
Yes, but this cute smile needs to be seen.
Absolutely.
But the point is, I tried to do all of it. It was a lot of work because I had to save them and I had to crop them. So what I actually did was I just decided to give him every single conceivable Weiss screenshot. So if the plan worked, any Weiss screenshot you see is one that I myself got. And I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah.
So, yes, this is a very cute and wonderful scene, and I enjoy it a lot. Now, unfortunately, not all good things last, because as you might remember, Yang kind of punched Big Nicholas's head into a bunch of tiny pieces, and now the whole thing is just kind of collapsing in on itself and making a big explosion.
Yep.
And Weiss flies out of Big Nicholas's eye. Yang.
That'd be a twist.
That would be a twist. Whoa.
Like, no, that's where the actual Weiss comes back.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, you found her. No.
She's just on the back of Yang's bike.
Yes, that would have been pretty great. But no. But Big Nicholas crumbles to many, many pieces. And that is the end of them.
Yeah. And it's also just the end of us going big, like, for everything with Big Nicholas, because, well, he's dead now.
He is dead now, and it is unfortunate. May the real Nicholas rest in peace. Big Nicholas, on the other hand, not as emotionally attached to that. Also, I guess I get to talk for a little bit longer because this is still Weiss related. Is the next battle in the agenda?
Oh,
is basically,
you know what?
Yes.
Sorry, I made those like parody death battle like images like for the last episode.
Yes. You
like
did.
One of them being Yang versus Big Nicholas.
Yes, and well, the winner is Yang.
Yep.
And on this one, we're cutting back to Jean versus the Jacques armor, and the sillies are helping him to give him a bit of a boost when it comes to lifting the big sword. Oh, you thought it was done? It's not.
I love that shot of just like all of them with the tiny maid's masters and even Pierre.
It's so cute. It's so cute. They're all helping, and then boom. Well, I was gonna say gets cleaved in twain. Not quite. It's more like a big, massive bonk on the head that shatters the armor.
Also, this is just straight up him executing Jog.
It very much is, which I appreciate in a lot of ways. And then the Jacques statue goes back into the form that it was before, where it was voicing the silly's thoughts. But then it just friggin' explodes, and that's great.
I love sorry, it's just hearing Jacques' English voice being like, I want to play with my family. It's just like, that's so silly, I love it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's only fitting. It did come from the sillies.
Yep.
But boom! Another victory for the good guys. And the tiny Weisses are like, hey, you doing good? You're doing good. We're happy.
The winner...
Happy Weisses.
But the winners are Jean and the Sillies.
The Sillies! Yay! And then they kind of have to run because Vig Nicholas's many mechanical parts are raining down, and well, it sure wouldn't be good to get hit with one of those.
Yeah, like, get out of there.
Run.
And you know what else has an effect on Vig Nicholas falling? Shadow Weiss is angry.
Yeah, she's not happy about this because, well, it's twisted and perverted. It may have become. That was still a representation of her grandfather, so, yeah. Understandably a bit miffed by that.
Yeah. And Shadow Blake gets some backup. Just saying, alright, it's time for your judgment. Are you ready? Now, I kind of want to call out Shadow Weiss here, just saying, how dare you commit such a dishonor to our noble guardian. Shadow Weiss, I know you're angry and everything, but Shadow Blake had literally nothing to do with that.
I mean, yes.
I'm just saying.
I mean, yes, that is true, but I mean, look, she's going through a lot right now, okay?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that.
I mean, at best, you could probably imagine, I don't know, assuming that she doesn't, think it's Ruby or Yang that did it.
She would at least think that Shadow Blake played a part.
Yeah, like, oh, did your minions do that? Like, what the crap? Why you gotta be all like that? That sort of thing, perhaps. Either way, I can understand how it ends up working.
Yeah.
It's Ruby time!
So, count at them vines, and,
doubting whether or not this is even the Grim, which is interesting, because
she just starts counting up all the chairs.
Yeah, it's like, hell with your comfortable seating.
Yeah. But then, she remembers Weiss's word.
It hides in the shadow.
Wait,
and
is
then
that
Ruby's
the
all
answer?
And Ruby's like, should I be taking that literally? And then she does a few more hacky slashies to expose the Weiss dress within. And Ruby's all like, yeah, all right, you know what? Sure, I'll give it a go. And start shooting her shadow. And hey, well, damn, wouldn't you know it? There's a nightmare.
Yeah, so, Weiss gave Ruby a coded message.
Yeah.
On, like, how to beat the nightmare.
Because Weiss is great. Unfortunately, it's not enough, and now Ruby is mad and snared by all manner of thorns. It's actually kind of messed up. I don't like it.
Like, Crescent Rose is out of her hands, and the nightmare is all... Alright. Oh, actually, no, she's still holding on to it.
Yeah.
It looked like she dropped it, but...
Well, I mean, she can't use it in the position she's currently in.
Yeah. Nightmare is all... Alright, you've had your fun, time to die. But then... Ruby decides to open her eyes, and... Well, if you've seen Volume 3, you know what happens.
Yeah, which isn't interesting, because this... Basically, okay, if we are to take the Ice Queendom as, just a canon supplement to everything else in the franchise, which, by and large, I'm okay with doing, this means that, technically, Ruby used it once before the fall of Beacon.
Yeah, and
Here's the thing. Look, I get it. This is great. It's a great scene. I like it. I'm glad that Ruby was able to do this. It's great. But here's the thing. In the show proper, when Ruby used those for what we thought were the first time, she immediately passed out. Not so much here. Basically, she launches the big silver eye blast, kills it, and then immediately just kind of rolls with it and goes, aha, I have the upper hands now. And she's not even mildly interested in how or why that just took place.
Yeah, okay. So, I did initially think, is this a bit canon breaking because it's Ruby using a Silver Eyes before she was actually meant to use them the first time?
I mean,
this is before Volume 2.
Yeah, this is Volume 1. I mean, the situation and the circumstances, those still line up fine, because it's a moment of incredible, like, emotional duress.
Yeah, and, I'm gonna have to spoil just a little bit of the finale. But something that also lines up with the actual canon.
Okay.
Yeah, so Ruby doesn't actually know, like, that's what it was.
Oh, she just thought it was some weird dream thing, maybe?
Yeah, like, she doesn't really recall, like, what happened.
Okay, well, it's like I find that suspect because, well, you were tangled up and stuff, and then all of a sudden you were free, and you were basically won. And I feel like you should be asking more questions about that, Ruby. But okay, fine.
Yeah.
It was a cool enough scene that I can get away from dealing with that.
And I'll throw this out there. That's exactly what happened with Ruby in Volume 3. She used the Silver Eyes and was just like, wait, what?
Yeah, but I mean, again, in Volume 3, she straight up passed out.
I mean, yeah, but...
Whereas within here, Ruby is just fine.
Yeah, I guess so. It was because, like, the situation was a bit... I want to say a bit more, like, mentally...
It was more of a mental attack than it was a physical one in Volume 3.
Yeah, because, well, she just saw Pura die in front of her.
Yeah,
and,
so it's different circumstances, I suppose.
Yeah, plus, I guess, like, she unintentionally put way more energy into that one.
That much is true. That was a much bigger blast.
Yeah, it was a much bigger blast to turn a freaking dragon Grim into stone.
Yeah, you know, whenever Beacon finally does get reopened, it's going to have a hell of a new, like, stone fixture.
Yeah. Actually, well, because that Grim is still alive.
Technically.
And that's why Grim is still, like, attracted to it, because the Wyvern is drawing them to it.
Yeah, I know. I was just making a joke.
Yeah. If it comes up, and, like, Team RWBY go back there, here's a really good idea. Just have Weiss murder it, and then boom, she can summon a Wyvern.
Here's the thing, just very briefly before we jump back into things. The criteria for what it means to, like, we're told that Shnees are able to summon basically the Fallen Grim that are relevant to personal development or something to that general effect. And that's always been a very dubious and kind of confusing criteria.
A bit.
So we don't really know if Weiss did that, it would count. I'm gonna personally say probably not, because the show is allergic to Weiss being too strong. But that's a discussion for another day.
I want to say screw that, because, like, how awesome would it be if, like, Team RWBY want to get somewhere, Weiss is all, hey, I got us a ride, summons a Wyvern, and they just, like, ride a freaking dragon across Remnant.
Yeah, would sure as all hell beat flying on the giant wasp.
Yeah, dude, that'd be awesome.
I'm not saying it wouldn't. I want Weiss to be the badassest this lady to ever be. I'm just trying to also be realistic and tempering my expectations. Regardless, RWBY has defeated the Nightmare.
The winner is Ruby Rose.
There you go. There you go. And simultaneously, you see, here's the thing. Killing the Nightmare has a pretty unique effect on Shadow Weiss for the obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Basically, this fight between the Shadow variants is pretty much already done. But we do have a brief scene first and foremost, and I get to bring this up because it's good news. We get to see on the outside, in the waking world, we see Weiss, and all of the crickle crackles all over her body starts fading away. And then, unfortunately, there's a big opening in her neck, and the shadow flies out, and I don't like that.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really like the effect of just, like their body, like, opening up.
Yeah, that's really messed up, especially if you're like me and have a problem with, like, neck injuries or anything. Just no thanks, don't do that. Like, I don't know why you needed to form like a big old hole in their body and actually have like the actual definition of their it's not graphic, but you can still like see how that's actually meant to be like an opening into her neck. It's no, don't do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have stuff to bring up about this later.
Okie dokie.
But for now, the Nightmare is put in a jar, and unlike the last one, it freaking disintegrates.
Yeah, I guess it got its ass kicked even harder. I'm not 100% sure how that works, but it's dead now, and I feel good about it.
Yeah. They finally killed the Nightmare. Weiss is okay.
Yeah. Now they just got to do it for Blake, too.
Yes.
But before we get to the next part, do you think Xion has at any point ever had to get desperate and put a Shadow Grim inside a rice cooker?
I hope so.
I'm just saying, it would be funny.
That would.
Anywho.
Anyway, so Osborn has this look when he's like, you know, looking at Ruby. Sometimes battle can awaken one's true ability. And
her face is glowing.
Yeah, okay. So that episode when he said it last time, and I was going, subtle.
Yeah.
I was alluding to this. And I hope it came across like, oh, he's foreshadowing Volume 3, haha. No, I'm alluding to the fact that Osborn basically spoiled what's happening in this.
I mean, it's a fairly safe assumption.
I know, but I kind of like the idea of even joking about it. It's just like, great, Osborn, you spoil Ice Queendom. Good for you.
Damn it, Osborn,
Like,
you really do just ruin everything.
You might as well just slap a timer on Ruby's forehead. I don't think that hint was obvious enough.
That would have been funny.
Ruby, why do you have a clock on your forehead?
I don't know. Well, we're back in
Blake,
the...
Yang, why do you two have a clock that counts down the same time?
Who knows? Anywho, we're back in the Dreamland, and this isn't nearly as great a place as where Kirby lives, but the point is, Yang decides to make a big dramatic entry, and it's like, hey...
Well, okay, before we talk about that,
E?
Okay, I think it's safe to say, we said the fight was over.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yep, the winner is Shadow Blake.
Okay, and just to show, you know, acceptance to this entire thing, if you were paying a close enough attention to the actual fight and animation itself, at bare minimum, Shadow Ice was basically on the back foot the entire time during that fight.
Yeah, when I did that first, like, Death Battle, like, parody thing, and, like, the whole, he's MaxN'Mate thing, I cringed so hard when I was listening to that, but I thought it was funny.
Hey, look, I know for a fact that at the very least, Nightstar thought it was really badass and thought you were really cool for adding it.
Thanks. Yeah, I was, like, going back through the footage, I'm just like, huh. Shadow Ice is on the back foot the entire fight.
On top of that, it also is shown just through the fact that the, you know, Grim White Fang members were pretty much just tearing through all of those Shmi robots.
Yeah, and the fact that everything's on purple fire, like all the trees are popping up, like in the
this is like Blake's
Queendom.
dream is, Blake's dream is clearly taking over entirely.
Yeah,
now,
it's not merging. This is like enveloping.
Right. So, but here's the thing. I want to put it into at least, you know, a small little saving throw. That it's obvious that Shadow Ice had been weakening pretty much this entire time. And obviously, you know, just the Nightmare dying outright it's just going to put an end to that whole thing right then and there. So, I want to say it's not exactly 100% cut and dry, but yeah, no, Shadow Blake just out and out won. And I shouldn't be upset about it because it means Weiss is fine now, but still, you know why it would bother me.
Yeah, and I had this thought when I saw this line in English. I wasn't thinking too hard about this in the sub. So, yeah, Yang gets in the way of like Shadow Blake walking towards the now unconscious Shadow Ice, saying,
"Yeah,
that's enough." Now, it's purely because of the Adam outfit, and you know everything that Shadow Blake was saying. Like, you'd think, oh, like human, gotta do a big murder. No, she just tells Yang to get out of the way. And I was just like, you know, Blake is still in there and still cares about Yang and Ruby.
Yeah.
I love that.
But, you know, I was also quick to point out the fact that, you know, Shadow Weiss tried to give the exact same kind of luxury to the three of them, too.
I know, I'm just like, oh, sweet.
Little tiny bit, and also, I mean, it doesn't last too terribly.
Yeah, because immediately after she says out of my way,
turbo fire.
Okay, so this shot with just like her glowing eyes and the fire like on screen. If I were in this situation, I'd just be like, whatever you do, please just end my life quickly.
Yeah, fire hurts a lot.
Like, this is terrifying.
Yeah. We briefly cut to Jean and Pyrrha doing what they can to protect the tiny sillies. which I'm just gonna very casually throw out there, just because I can. There were 10, now there are 5.
I don't like to think about that.
Yeah, so moving on. Terribly sorry that I end up having to talk a lot, but hey, wouldn't you know it, there's a lot of Weiss involved in this episode.
Hey, if there were a lot of Blake, it would have been me.
Exactly, and look, there's something that you do get to talk about later, but we'll get to that.
I'm excited.
Yes, I know. We cut to basically the inside of Weiss's mind again, and she's back inside the dorm room, and she's once again thinking about, man, no, I did want a bunk bed.
Yeah,
I'm lying about that.
It's the scene right before her nightmare started in episode 3.
It's sort of continuing. And then Weiss just kind of turns and she sees RWBY. And RWBY says, you know, you had siblings, so like, why not? Why didn't you have a bunk bed? Basically, bunk bed is sort of a euphemism for lonely, essentially. Because, well, yeah, why didn't Weiss ever have a bunk bed if she had siblings? Because that's just not the kind of thing that her family did. Weiss reflects that, yeah, even though there were 5 of us, she still felt entirely alone. She didn't really have a lot of connections in that particular regard, and it wasn't easy. But the internal RWBY basically says that, you know, she has no desire to leave, and she asks Weiss if they can just be friends. And, well, Weiss doesn't say anything, but she sure does have a face that says that she's pretty okay with that idea. And it's very, 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 very cute. Oh my god, that face. Oh my god. And then...
her dress!
Outside, the dress!
It's no longer tattered and ripped!
Yeah, it's all good now. And Ruby's all like, yo, but Weiss? Is that you? Are you a ghost? And the dress summons a big old glyph, and she teleports RWBY away. Man, sure would be nice if Weiss's glyphs in the actual canon were able to teleport her and others around. That would be dope.
That would be pretty cool.
Maybe if her semblance evolves in some regard. I don't know.
Ooh. Oh, think of how much that could open up fights.
It would. She could teleport spam. It'd be great.
Yeah, not just for her, but like for the whole team.
Yeah, no, she'd basically be able to create gateways between 2 glyphs. It'd be really cool.
Oh, you know, it could be like Team Briar in Arrowfell.
It would, because then she'd be able to create two entry and exit points that people could jump through, which would be really great for her and her team. And considering how incredibly devoted to being support that she is, it would be honestly right up Weiss's alley.
Although now I think about it, like, could she in theory use that to get a bad guy through it part way and then just close it off?
Pull off a noob Cybot? Yeah, no, she definitely could.
Oh god, now I'm thinking, like, you ever seen how Avengers Endgame should have ended?
I have, yes.
Like, Weiss just does that and pulls a wand going, yes! Weiss!
Hell yeah! It's like and she just waves her hands around, boom, boom, boom. All right, I'm gonna put a glyph over your Salem, and now you're cut in half. You may be immortal, but that's still gotta hurt.
I mean, you reform in a second anyway, but hey.
Worth it.
Yeah, worth it just for that joke.
Worth it! Anyway, Weiss awakens! And RWBY appears right next to her in the glyph teleport. And RWBY's all like, whoa, hey, whoa, what am I doing here? And it's like,
Weiss
well, there you are. Yeah,
I'm a little further ahead, but...
Yeah, Weiss is deeply confused, and in her confusion, she gets hugged by a RWBY, and RWBY's all like, why are you doing that? It's like, what are you doing?
I love how she's all like, wait, what am I wearing?
Why does my sword look like what's going on?
Yeah.
And Yang's
also,
all like, quickly, there's no time.
Also, did you know, I love she just immediately recognizes the real Weiss.
Yes.
If anything, because the scar is back.
Yes, that is the telltale sign between the shadow and real versions of her. It was always the scar. Because it's symbolic of growth.
Yeah. But like Yang says, it's not over.
There is no time. And Blake's been possessed by a Grim. And it's like, RWBY was not privy to that part of the plan.
Yeah. Okay, I have to... Like, Okay, do you remember in the last episode when I was like I can't remember if I talked about it in the actual episode or if it was off screen. But I mentioned how Ruby just kind of walks casually up to the nightmare. Do you think if she knew Blake was possessed by a nightmare as well, she would have, like, you know, picked up the pace a little bit?
I feel like it would have definitely put a little bit of hitch in her step. Like, she already was... she was like, all right, things are dire, but I need to take my time, make sure everything's fine. But if she knew that 2 of her friends were on a time limit, she'd be like, okay, maybe I really got to get this going. Also, boom, 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 boom. Let's give some credit to Weiss, because immediately, like dang near immediately after it's been, like, Yang says, Blake's been possessed by a Grimm. Weiss is all like, she's been friggin' what? I gotta do something about that. And I love it.
Yeah. I like that she says, I didn't notice that she was acting strange at all.
Which is
kind of
amazing.
like what Blake was like when they found out Weiss was possessed. I like
also,
that.
Admittedly, also RWBY also said something of that ilk. But yeah, it's just like, okay, so I like this. I like this because it's really small, and I guess I don't need to talk about it a lot, but I want to. It's just that I appreciate the fact that basically Weiss wakes up in an unfamiliar place and not knowing what's going on. She's in an outfit she's never seen before. Everything about everything is very confused. And the instant she realizes, oh, Blake needs my help? Okay, here we go. And she's just on it like that.
Yeah.
I love that. Because Weiss just cares about people like that. But yeah, it's interesting because even though the Shadow version of Blake is saying the exact same things it's always been doing, Weiss doesn't really even pay any attention to the things that it's like hurling insult-wise at her, and just like, oh my god, I didn't notice that things were going wrong with Blake at all. I feel terrible about this. I need to do something. And Ruby's all like, hey, so you want to actually explain what that's all about? And she's like, there's no time! We gotta get the heck out of here. We gotta save her. And then, I almost said something I shouldn't. Blake, something in Blake's pocket starts shining.
I knew where you were going with that.
No, you do not. We're moving on.
I will just say, that thought crossed my mind. As for the glowing thing, we'll see what that is in a minute, because
yeah,
we gotta do some fighting.
Yeah, Shion says, okay, well, kind of running low here. They kind of need to get things going. And we get some badass action shots, including Weiss kicking one of those shadow White Fang Grimm things so hard that its whole entire damn body ripples. It's awesome. And she kicks with a high heel, so you know that's going to hurt like hell.
And Ruby just cuts the other one in half. Well,
actually, yeah, she does. But I want to say one more thing. I'm sorry. I'm getting gushy, but it's another thing that's really cool because this is something that we don't see in canon, but this is the second time that I've seen it in supplementary material, so it's something I want to think that Weiss is totally capable of doing. And it's basically this palm burst attack, where basically she's sort of able to kind of charge it up a little bit, her hand, and it's like a combination of glyph and dust, and it's like, oh, you probably don't know this because I don't think you watch One Piece, but it's kind of like an impact dial. And it's just this, it's like she shoves her wrist out and she hits something with her palm and there's like this big burst of explosive energy. And it's just such a really, really cool move. And I like that, at the very least in the supplementary material, Weiss has the ability to fight back in a big way, even if she doesn't have her sword.
Yeah.
It's just really cool, and I wanted to talk about that. Okay, but yeah, Weiss, Ruby do big cuts.
Yep, all the while, Yang's fighting Shadow Blake.
Yep, and, well, this is certainly more your speed than mine.
Yeah, Yang's just all like, hey, I'm just trying to wake you up. I think in the sub she says, I'm just trying to punch you.
I'm gonna call that a pretty good change in line, then.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, you've told a few times you've told me now that the dub has changed a line or two from the subs, and it's basically been for the best.
Yeah, including one that we are going to get to later, which is in a way for the best, but also still weird.
Yeah, a little bit.
So anyway, Yang throws a punch towards Shadow Blake's face. Shadow Blake puts up a sword to block it, but the punch still goes through.
Still gets punched in the face.
Then we get this shot of just Shadow Blake's mask, like, cracked, so her eye is revealed.
Yeah.
But the real Blake starts talking. And Yang's all, Blake, you gotta wake up. So she reaches into her jacket for the thing that was glowing, and it's the last coin.
Yeah.
So I'm also just letting the scene play out.
Yeah, and...
She uses it. I had the biggest grin when I saw this in both sub and dub.
And Blake tries to basically shed Shadow Blake off of her like she's a cicada.
Like, she also just swims through a fiery atom.
Yes.
Like, that's a thing. Climbs out of Shadow Blake, calls out to Yang, who grabs her hand, yes, pulls her out. First of all, Blake is back, yes, love that.
Yep.
2,
You have a lot to say, go ahead.
okay, this look between the two of them. If you know me and know what I like, you know why this made me happy. Buzz freaking buzz.
Now, you've said on multiple occasions that there's something else about this scene that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, okay, so when the sub of this came out, I showed you this clip.
Yes.
I remember your reaction so vividly.
Okay.
By the way, it was, like, without, like, context.
There was zero
stuff.
context, and all literally, the only thing I saw was basically Blake emerging from her shadow and Yang pulling her out. That's it.
Yeah, and when I got to, like, this moment between the two, your reaction was, and I quote, "Oh my god, they're not even trying to be subtle about this anymore."
Yeah. That is what I said.
The thing is, they're really not.
They're really not. At one point, they were. They actually were trying to make this not blatantly obvious. But they do not care anymore. It's like, we all know where this is going. We're gonna have fun with it, I guess.
All the more reason, just have them freaking kiss in Volume 9, okay?
No. And for what, Ruby and Weiss seem pretty happy about this.
As they
I'm
should,
sure-
because, Blake's back to her normal self.
Blake's back, and it's good times, and everything. But yeah, the just because Blake got out doesn't mean that the shadow isn't, still there.
Yeah. But, thankfully, Ruby knows how to beat the nightmare, and...
Although, I would like to very quickly point out that Ruby is also quick to say, Weiss is the one who taught me how to beat this thing. And Weiss is all like, what?
Also, I noticed a spelling error in the captions.
Nani?
And it's that they spell Weiss's name wrong.
Oh no! Okay, so basically, well that's why Weiss is so confused. Weiss didn't teach Ruby how to do it, Wiss did.
Yeah, it just spells Weiss with a second W instead of an E.
Yeah, so now, in this instance, she is Wiss. Funny that. Regardless.
Does that mean, like, she can order around Beerus?
Yes, yeah, absolutely it can. Which makes sense, because her dad and Beerus are voiced by the same person! It works in so many ways. Anyway, it's time for some gosh darn teamwork all up in here.
Hell yeah, it is, and I love the shot of all four. Oh wait, we're not quite there yet. I was getting a bit ahead of myself.
It's okay. There's a big ol' tussle, and man,
yeah, Team Ruby versus Shadow Blake.
Shadow Blake is significantly creepier now because the mask is still broken, but instead of seeing Blake's eye, it's basically just this deep black abyss.
Yeah, and well, I mean, there are some shots where you can see the eye.
It is, but the point is, it's much more disturbing. And Weiss
It
shoots
is. Also,
lasers.
her voice has a filter on it.
It does. Shooting lasers. Weiss shoots lasers. And then, you know what she did? I'll tell you what she did. Encased her in ice is what she did, and that makes me big happy.
All for Yang to punch her into the sky.
A very interesting variation of the freezer burn technique, but we'll take them.
Yeah, and now, I don't know what this maneuver is called, but Weiss launches Ruby up.
Hang on. No, shut up. This is amazing, okay? This is a weird-ass team-up move that I don't even know how they were able to make happen, because Weiss shouldn't even know that Ruby has a snowboard right now, but I don't care, because it's so damn cool.
You know what?
Yes.
We already have Ice Flower. Can this be the White Rose team-up move?
No. Anyway,
okay.
Weiss creates this basically a 5-pronged laser that kind of converges in on itself and creates a huge-ass explosion, which RWBY then literally rides and flings her way the hell up into the sky. And it is so damn cool, and you can tell, boy, they sure were saving up their budget for this part.
Yep, and it's kind of why I hate the fact I know it's just an animation error.
I don't care, just keep on keeping on.
Yeah, this shot of Shadow Blade, there's a shot where, like, her mask is fixed.
Yeah, a little bit, I know, but it's okay. Yeah. It happens so fast.
Yeah, it happens so fast, you're not going to notice it unless you're, like, pausing so much like we are.
Yeah, for the sake of a weird podcast.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Anyway, so hey, you want to talk about what immediately happens after that?
Oh, after, RWBY freaking yeets Shadow Blade into the ground from way high in the air.
Yep.
Which, okay, by the way, I'm gonna give Shadow Blade so much credit for this. Gets up, shrugging that off.
Yeah. I mean, the nightmare is powerful, yo.
Yeah.
It's less a Blake thing and more of a nightmare thing because there is no Blake in there anymore.
Yeah.
But it has the guise of her, so you're going to give him kudos.
Yeah. So that was a pretty big hit that she freaking shrugs off, and shank.
That's a dark-looking picture, my guy.
Yeah, I got to see Blake stab Blake through the chest.
And I'm not saying Blake has a history, or maybe even one could say a reputation for impaling people. But it's weird it's happened twice.
3 times if you count something else.
True.
Well, even then, that was a stab.
Yes. But that's, no, an impalement is when that sword goes all the way through.
Okay, yeah, so she'll go through 2 impalements.
Yeah, look, I'm just saying, if it happens a 3rd time, we might need to get her some therapy.
Maybe, although, this isn't, like, really a person, it's just, the Nightmare using, like, her image to...
I know.
Yeah. Also, I guess you could take this as, like, in a way, foreshadowing Adam's death.
You totally could. That's basically the same thing.
Yeah, and
Yang, I would like to just very... Yeah,
before we talk any further, I want to, like, say, despite the fact she's only in, like, a few episodes, is it weird that I think Shadow Blake is up there for, like, one of my favorite RWBY antagonists? Okay, because, like, she's quite powerful, imposing. Erin's freaking performance, oh my god.
Unlike Adam, she didn't overstay her welcome.
Like, yeah, legitimately powerful. It took Team RWBY to, you know, take her down.
Yeah.
Plus, it's still Blake.
No, and she does have the hot pants.
Yeah. I should say, not my favorite villain.
No.
I'm just saying she's up there for one of my favorites.
I get you. And I'm not sure if it's meant to come off this way, but I find a great deal of humor in Yang just kind of sheepishly going, "You didn't have to give the final blow."
I say nay.
Look, I'm just saying, it can be easily interpreted, even if it's not meant to be, of Yang going, "That's kind of freaky to look at. Did you have to do that, Blake?"
Admittedly, but...
like, it feels like she's voicing exactly what you said. It's like, you know, that's really cool and everything, and, you know, good on you and everything, but I'm kind of freaked out by this.
Yeah, I am too, but I will say, if anyone was gonna have, like, the killing blow on Shadow Blake, I'm glad it was Blake herself.
I get it.
And especially considering she says, it's not me, it's what I used to be or would have become had I not gone a different path.
Exactly.
Basically.
And now...
And, okay, so... Do you remember when Shadow Weiss did that thing with all the clouds?
Yeah.
Now... Yeah. Shadow Weiss is that powerful.
Yeah.
Shadow Blake is not only, well, supposed to be equal, but was basically dominating the whole fight. Could take on all of Team RWBY. Blake freaking just impales her, so... Depending on what you want to do with scaling... You know, there's a way to scale Team RWBY to Shadow Weiss.
So, there you go. But now, this shot of all of them standing there.
Yeah, this is the one I kind of jumped the gun on.
Yeah, it's okay, but it looks really, really cool, and they're all staring down the big thorny nightmare thing, and they decide it's time to be awesome and kick some serious ass. And it's
Hell yes.
And it's a bunch of really cool, stylized, and also very cost-efficient methods of showing them fighting this monster.
Mm.
It looks cool enough that I can overlook the fact that it's obviously cost-cutting measure.
Yeah. I get all the silhouettes, Yang punching it, Blake slashing it, Weiss slashing it, stabbing it.
Weiss stabbing it with her sword. It's good.
RWBY slashing it. Team RWBY do a lot of slashing.
They do a lot of slashing. Really, it's just Yang doing the punching. Also,
Yeah.
okay, so then they're like, all right, it's time. We have to attack the shadow. And look, here's the thing. 3 of them can shoot much more natural projectiles. And then you just kind of got Yang just going, Like, I knew that she's still shooting it, but it looks much sillier than the other
really
3.
Does. Could you imagine if she just ran over and tried
just
punching it?
Yeah, I was like, all right, the 3 of them are like, they're actually shooting things in a way that looks like they're shooting guns, and Yang just runs over like, I'm gonna punch it. It'd be funny. Anyway, wouldn't you know it? That's all it takes. And then the shadow gets taken out of Blake.
Yeah, okay, so
Go ahead.
there's just that shot of just her chest opening up, and okay, first of all, don't like that.
Yeah, but also interesting.
Yeah, it goes through her clothes.
We believe this could be a bit of an actual. It's not meant to be on purpose. It could be an animation error.
Yeah, honestly, I feel it would have made more sense if it just came out of her arm.
Yes,
Considering, that's where the nightmare went in.
It's just, we only go off of this assumption because the other 2 times we've seen the nightmare exit someone's body, it was in open parts of a character's anatomy.
It was bare skin.
Yeah, it was bare skin. So we want to say that probably is what they meant to do, but it something must have happened along the way that caused some kind of miscommunication.
Yeah, I'm gonna be calling back to this for a bad joke later, but anyway.
Yeah, you are.
Sharon grabs the nightmare, puts it back in the jar.
Mm-hmm.
They made it just in time.
Pyrrha says that John did a good job.
I mean, he did.
He did. He did do a good job. And we cut back to the Dreamlands, and Weiss is all like, "Yo, what the hell you guys doing here?"
Yeah, but
like,
everything else, like, all the thorns are fading.
Yeah, the whole thing. It's a much more nice place. But Team RWBY, they go up to Jean and the Sillies, and Weiss is all like, "Oh, John's here. That's odd." And Pyrrha, and who are these children? Like, whose sassy lost children are these? Weiss is confused.
Yeah, but then the kids and Pyrrha fade away.
Yep. They just vanished, but
which confuses Jean.
Yes, it does, understandably. But
I like that he got attached.
He did. They're very cute.
That's adorable.
I would have too. I mean, what? Yang basically drops the bombshells, like, they're aspects of your dream, and Blake says, "Oh, I think you called them sillies," and Weiss is confused. And in a few moments, she is given the full context, and, well, to say that Weiss is completely and utterly mortified by everything that has transpired would be an understatement of the highest degree.
Yeah.
She is deeply, deeply embarrassed. Not just of being possessed by a Grimm in general, but by the fact that, look, here's the thing. No matter how close you are with literally anybody, getting a deep dive into someone's mental psyche like that is a wee bit embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, I kind of kept some things from you guys, because I wanted to. And, I guess you guys just know everything now. Yang doesn't help.
She calls Weiss the Thing.
She does call her the Ice Queen.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Weiss. It's the most embarrassing thing ever.
You know what? Also, shout out to Blake. Well, Weiss is having this crisis, and Yang cracks this joke. Blake's all, hey, no, how about no?
How about maybe don't? And Weiss tearfully, I might say. Very adamantly says that she would very much like them to, promise to never tell anyone about any of this. Even just outright going, John too, I'll hate you forever if you tell your team about it. And, credit to Miles, who voices the line
I love this delivery so much.
So much better than I could ever paraphrase it. It's just like, I'm never too late for that.
Wait, what's it a little too late for? Her hating him forever or his team knowing?
A little of both. A little of both. But Weiss doesn't have a lot of time for an emotional crisis because it's time to get the heck out of here. They use the last coin, and, well, the dream finally shatters like a mirror! It's symbolic. And the girls are finally able to wake up.
Yay!
Also, Jean.
Hey, this nightmare stuff is over.
Yeah. Why is Shion's keyboard covered in stickers of famous Japanese paintings? Anyway, the girls wake up, and everybody, and it's very, very good. And Weiss wakes up, which makes me the most happy of all. But she very quickly realizes there's a lot of people in this room.
Yeah, well, they might not have seen everything that the rest of her team and John saw.
No, but they still know that she got possessed by a Grimm, and boy howdy, Weiss is not happy about this. This poor girl.
Yeah,
I
everyone's just like, you're awake, yay!
Yeah,
they're just happy she's okay.
And Pyrrha's just like, oh, I'm glad you're okay, and Weiss just like, yeah, thanks. It wasn't a big deal.
Alright.
And with that, the episode technically concludes. Technically.
Yeah, but I am gonna just bring up a bad joke because of the nightmare thing earlier.
Hey, go ahead. I won't interrupt.
So, because we don't really see everyone else get up, oh god, like a bad alternate take you could do with this.
Just go for it.
Is, everyone else gets up and is saying they're happy. The camera only shows the back of Blake saying, I'm so happy you're awake, but everyone's like looking at her like weird, and some even trying to look away. She's like, wait, why are you looking at me like that? And remember that the nightmare didn't just come out of her chest, but also made a hole in her shirt. Yeah.
Tellingly, the only one to not look away was Yang. Weird.
Anyway,
we have a little bonus, and this is my thing. I get one more thing here. Okay. Once the credits are over, we basically get a post-credit scene, and it is closed captions. Weiss sobbing. Ugh. Basically,
yeah,
Weiss has.
I do like that she basically just like puts all the sheets up like around her bunk.
Yeah, so she's hiding right now. She basically booked it back to their dorm room, and she's freaking out. The Team Juniper and the professor, they saw everything, and she thinks that everyone at Beacon is gonna know, which luckily, no, I doubt that very much.
Yeah. Also, like, okay, I'm gonna be calling back to a little something in the books, because. I can't remember exactly who brings it up. Oh yeah, Ruby says no one's gonna make fun of you, Weiss.
Yes.
So, in the Team Coffee book, there's some arsehole picking on Velvet because she's a faunus. Blake stands up for her, and this guy's like, oh, she's part of Team RWBY, I'm out. And just like backs away. Yeah, Team RWBY are the best in that year.
Yeah, absolutely.
So much so that a guy picking on an upperclassman will run away from them. I don't think anyone's gonna make fun of Weiss.
Yeah. Look, definitely, but... Okay. So look, here's...
Also, I love that moment for Blake.
I know. But basically, Ruby, Yang, and Blake, they try to assure her that no one's gonna make fun of her, no one's gonna know about it, you don't have to worry so much about it. Weiss briefly pops out from the sheets to, be upset with Blake a little bit. It's like, how could she say that? Now, listen, your only mate, Mark, my friend.
You know what? She says, how can you say that? Has a scar, a bad family. I'm just like, I know a certain fire boy that can relate.
Indeed. But listen, Mark, are you listening to me?
Laugh.
I know, but are you listening to me?
Yes.
Okay. For hundreds, maybe even thousands of years, humanity has had a question. What is cute? How can we perhaps harness cute into a tangible form? Now, we've gotten many adorable cartoons in the day. They've marketed adorable teddy bears and other such variants to the populace to try and just grab a small sample of the pure, concentrated concept of cuteness. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have to say, that on this very day we have discovered a true, quite possibly limitless fountain of concentrated adorableness that nobody could ever have possibly managed to ever find or even comprehend until this very day. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone in between, I dare say, the Weiss Schnee is the single cutest goddamn thing on the face of the earth. Oh my god!
I would also like to, just throw my bias as all hell, hat in the ring, and say also Blake.
Yes, but I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Is Blake the one making these faces right now? Do you see these faces that she's making? These embarrassed faces? These
I'm
little
just throwing it out there. I know what you're getting at.
Are you looking?
Yes, I am. It's very cute.
Are you seeing? As her team laugh at her, which they said they wouldn't do.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is rude. Let me finish.
Yeah. Go ahead.
As they laugh, and she makes these faces, and she does big pouty face. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm calling it. No. It's the 3 count. We're done. It's done. Cutest goddamn thing on the face of the earth. Nothing could ever compare. The end. Boom. You may discuss your line changes in the sub and dub.
Yeah, okay. As we get this shot of the night pieces.
I'm pausing on the face.
I like that Team RWBY just have those.
Yes, they kept them.
Okay, so in the sub, they actually say they won't laugh at Weiss, but then they end up doing that, and she's all, you promised you wouldn't laugh.
And it comes off as a whole lot more mean.
It kind of does, but in this, the dub, they're talking about how no one's gonna, like, make fun of her, they won't tell anybody, like, what they saw in her dream, and that Weiss has nothing to worry about. Then she quotes Zuko, and they start laughing, probably because they're all Avatar fans. Who would have thought?
Dork.
Sorry. And then Weiss says, you promised you wouldn't laugh. Okay, so they changed it a bit, but left in some of it.
Here's the thing. It can easily be interpreted as more so an unspoken sort of promise, in the sense that, well, they just said, no one's gonna make fun of you, no one's gonna laugh, it's all good, you're gonna be fine. And then, the first thing she does when she pops out is that they all start laughing. It's not a direct promise, perhaps. It could be even read as perhaps a slight exaggeration from Weiss's part. Long story short is, they still did what I like to call a not cool move. Do not bully Weiss, she is perfect.
Yeah. By the way, I'm also more forgiving of this because everybody is okay.
True, that's the thing. Nobody is in danger anymore. Now is the time for lighthearted jabbery.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Just
it's acceptable.
Immediately after being told that one of them might die.
Yeah, that's not no.
Yeah, I feel like
that's. It did give me these faces. So
yeah. That's the important thing.
How bad can I complain? Truly. Also, The end of episode art illustration is of Weiss exclusively, and it's pretty.
Yeah, it is.
So hey ho, there you go. Ice Queendom done forever, apparently.
Well,
the story is over. What else is there to do?
So you might think, we have one more episode.
Not me.
And I don't know if you caught this, but its title is familiar.
It is. It's the title of an actual episode from the canon.
It's Best Day Ever.
And if you know what that episode is, well, I haven't seen the actual episode itself. I am still waiting for the dub. It's not out yet. But just going off of that alone, there's gonna be some good stuff.
Yeah, if you know what episode this is, you know what's coming. And
it's gonna be a good episode. I like it.
There's a scene in particular I'm looking forward to both of us talking about.
Okay, I am intrigued.
They already have the music I know I'm gonna use for that.
Dang straight you do. Plus, now that we're out of the dream, it's back to Persona 4.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm also just gonna throw this out there. Like, when we get back to actual RWBY, all this, like, screenshot stuff, I'm not doing this again.
It's a lot of effort, and it's for this very special circumstance.
Yeah. Plus, like, changing all the tracks, as much as I love doing it, like, you know, it's just, like, oh, this fits this scene, it's great. It was a lot of work, and I kind of want to go back to just one screenshot, one track, we're done.
Yeah, you can put it on in the background and listen to it when you're cleaning your closet or whatever it is you do when you watch these. I don't know. I ain't judging you. You can do whatever you want. I believe in you.
Yeah.
But yep, that's another episode Ice Queendom down. We've got one more to go. I loved this episode immensely for a wide variety of reasons, and 98.7% of all of them are Weiss. So yeah.
I also love like this episode for a whole multitude of reasons. Blake killing her shadow self was pretty great.
Buzz.
I have to admit that is something a little weird.
What?
Like, the series is Ice Queendom.
Yes.
Blake gets to kill her shadow self, but not Weiss.
You know, I perhaps maybe should be slightly upset with the fact that I don't get that kind of catharsis, because it would be really cool to have Weiss win a one-on-one competition, regardless of whether or not it's her evil shadow self or not. But at the same time, you know what? Maybe I'm okay with the fact that I didn't have to see her stab herself.
Yeah, also, like, the way, like, it's done and, like, set up, they would have had to do a whole bunch of, like, you know, swings and roundabouts and whatever to make that work.
Yeah, so, look, it just is what it is, and it's acceptable.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been cool to see one of them just, like, slip the coin in Weiss's pocket.
It would have, yes, but, you know, hindsight, all that business.
Yeah.
Regardless, Weiss got plenty of times, and she actually got to really contribute to the fight in the end. I am accepting of this.
Yeah.
We shall return soon
also,
for the finale.
Also, I got the bee moment.
You did get the buzz. It's true.
Yay.
We shall return for the final episode of Ice Queendom. It will be a good time, I can only assume. And we hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. And we are going to see you again real soon.
And in the finale, I'm going to have a big thing to talk about when we get to, like, the end of it.
Yee. So there you go. Farewell.
Bye.
God, I'm hungry.